Welcome to today's episode of Sassy Detectives. We're your hosts,
Tori.
and Rae. We are here to talk about anything and everything Nancy Drew, and today we'll be talking about The Phantom of Venice. Roll the intro.
I love this game.
I love this game too. I love it.
I love this game so much. It's in my top 5.
It's in my top 10.
So,
I don't know. Just it's such a see, I actually have a story about this game, and
okay.
so when I was in my early teens, that's when I really got obsessed with the Nancy Drew games. Like, I'd liked them before and I played them with my friend, but I hadn't finished one by myself until I was 13. And that was Curse of Blackmore Manor. But then I would have like this list of which games I wanted to play, all of them, of course. But I had a list of which games I would want to play in, and like which one do I think is better to play first, which one I'm most excited for. And this was one of the ones that I kept at the top of the list, other than the ones I'd already played, which happened to be my favorites by this time. But I was like, I kept asking my mom, "Hey, mom, can we get the Phantom of Venice? I really want to buy the Phantom of Venice. Like, it's a digital download. It's like $10. Like, can we please get the Phantom of Venice?" And she was like, "We can't afford it right now because I grew up poor, and so um, it was hard to afford a lot of stuff. But then for Christmas one year, we got the Phantom of Venice, and I was so happy about it. Like, I was freaking out about how happy I was. I was just
Aw.
ecstatic because it was,
You've been
I'm
wanting
obsessed
it
with
for so
Nancy
long.
Drew. Yeah, and then I played it, and I was like, okay, I really like this. But when I did start the game, I was kind of freaked out by the intro
Yeah.
because I was like, wait, what's going on? Do I have to escape? Because it
Yeah.
is such an iconic intro.
I think it's the first and I think only time that it's basically it kind of feels like a one of those like sitcom intros where it's like something weird's
Yeah!
happening and then it's like scratch track and then it's like you're probably wondering how I got myself in this situation.
Literally it, and I love it. I love it so much, like an early 2000s comedy thing, like teen comedy. Yeah,
Yeah, so it's
and
like so that begs the
so
question, is the
cheesy. I love
entire
it.
game a flashback?
Ah, until that moment, probably. But
Yeah.
like, oh, we're getting meta here. We're getting meta here because, like, if it is a flashback, why is she flashing back? Like, is she telling this story? Is she just
She
doing
probably
this
is
as she's trying to escape the trap at the end?
yeah, I would
Just
say she's probably
recounting
panicking that she's
everything.
about to die. And so she's thinking back on all
Yeah.
of the things that led her there.
Yeah, she's like, geez, now I regret everything. Because I'm stuck in sewer water now.
Yeah. So the water's pouring. Nancy goes back to the start of her trip and she wakes up inside her room at the Conoscosta. A beautiful room, I might add.
It is so beautiful. Like, I always get really insulted when Nancy's like, "Oh, it's quaint." I'm just like, and you're saying that as an insult, Nancy? Like, she's not saying it in a positive way. Like,
Yeah.
Nancy, it is so beautiful there. That is like one of the most beautiful game locations we've had ever, and you're just like, it's okay. I'm like, girl, that is the
Mhm.
coolest room. It is so cute. It's so pretty. That interior design with like the red matching everything, it's so pretty.
Yeah,
Are
it's
you
really
kidding me,
pretty
Nancy?
and you get to change your clothes in this game.
Yes. Oh my god. We
I
need to have
love
more
the
games
fashion.
where we can. Yes, we need to have more games where we can dress up Nancy. Like, Her Interactive, if you're listening, please give us more dress up games where we can dress her in the weirdest stuff we have. Please. I
Like
need more.
I there's some playthroughs where I will literally go grind money for like an hour and a half and just buy a bunch of wardrobe pieces.
Oh, yeah. I always do a lot of, the dancing, but my old computer used to have a touchscreen on it. And so that's how I would make my money, was with the flies game, the hornets game.
Oh.
Because I would just tap the screen, and it was so great. Unfortunately, I have a new pad. Well, fortunately, I do have a new laptop because my 11-year-old one died. So rip that laptop. But I did love how that laptop allowed me to win every single one of the Hornet puzzles in this game and in Legend of the Crystal Skull. So there's that. But also, yeah, it's just, I will buy everything.
Yeah.
I will buy all of those outfits, and they will all look so stupid.
Another thing that you can do in Nancy's room is you can look at the little book of Italian words and phrases, and you can press the little button, and the little mouse will say the words to you. And I always thought that was really neat.
Giallo.
So cute.
Porto.
Mm-hmm.
Alla destra di.
Alla sinistra di. Yes, it's so cute.
I love it.
I love the little Venice guide.
Tori. Okay, listen, I have 3 sources of Italian in my life. 1, my opera training. 2, this game, and 3, Assassin's Creed 2. So, like, I will be saying random things, but, like, the most influential Italian source in my life was that little mouse.
Yeah.
Traliccio. Traliccio. It's just, I always hear giallo.
Mm-hmm.
It's always in my head. I made my first meme that I ever posted on my Instagram page. Let me see if I can find it. But it was the first meme I ever posted on my Instagram, and it's this "Does It Spark Joy" meme.
Yeah.
Where it's like, this sparks joy, and it's the little mouse from the Phantom of Venice book.
Uh-huh.
And then it says, this does not spark joy, and it's the Duolingo owl. Like, I'm sorry, Duo, but you could never. Like, yeah. The little mouse from Phantom of Venice, that, you could never Duolingo. I'm sorry.
You could never.
No, nothing does the Duolingo owl speak to you in a cute voice. No.
It
but
only
the little
insults
mouse
you
does.
if you break your streak.
And it sometimes kidnaps your family.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another reason why the little mouse is safer to go with for learning languages.
Very true. Okay, so that's Nancy's room. You can also look at like some of the stuff from on the other side of the room, and you realize you have a roommate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then
Elena.
if you leave the room, then you are immediately greeted by the Backstreet Boy Wish.com version himself, Colin Baxter.
I think he was in NSYNC, right? NSYNC. Let me see.
Oh, for Justin Timberlake?
Sure.
Yeah, he was in NSYNC.
Yeah, he was. Oh, that is the ramen hair. Yeah, but...
Yeah, the crunchy ramen hair.
Crunchy ramen hair.
Mm-hmm. Frosted tips, all that good stuff.
But he's like, oh, you must be Nancy. Look at my Tesserae slides. And you do not have a choice, really. He is going to be offended at you no matter what you choose, because you can choose to not look at his Tesserae slides, or you can look at his Tesserae slides. But if you choose not to, he'll be like, I thought I found a kindred spirit, but you're just like everyone else. And if you look at his Tesserae slides and then say, oh, I have to go now, I'm actually really busy, he says, I thought I found a kindred spirit, but it turns out you're just like everyone else. Like, he has the same reaction, because he's so, like,
yeah.
Like, I don't have time.
I support having, like, a niche passion. What I don't support is, like, insisting that other people shirk their responsibilities in order to, like, share your passion. Please. I'm not saying don't.
Yeah.
But
it's like
you can't disrupt other people's lives.
Yeah, it's like me forcing people to play Nancy Drew games. And like, yeah, no, I know you have a job and you have to leave to get to your job at like 10, but it's 9:45. Let's play a little bit of Curse of Blackmore Manor, and if you don't, I'm gonna cry.
And say you're just like everybody else.
You're just like everybody else. You hate me.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, ah.
And then another thing Colin
yeah.
says is he tells Nancy that there's a package for her outside.
Yeah, and he also tells her that Margarita is up on the roof.
Yeah.
And she should probably talk to her. And so you can go up and talk to Margarita, and she is so condescending.
She's the owner of the Conoscosta for any context that anybody needs.
And she's so mean because one of the things she does, she says, oh, like, I can tell you're American by the way you dress and everything, or something like that. But Nancy's like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
She's also, oh, I forgot what the quote is exactly, but I don't know if it's here or not, but I always remember her being like, I am rich, but spending money will make me unreach. And I love it so much.
I also believe that Margarita is a perfect candidate for a skin cancer screening.
Yes. Oh my god. Like, girl, please get some sunscreen on.
Or just go inside.
Because she's always tanning. Like, that's her entire thing. She just tans all day long. And I'm
Imagine
like...
how leathery her skin is.
She's like, they say the sun ages your skin, but it also makes you tan. To be tan is good. I'm like, no, girl, you're gonna get skin cancer.
Yeah.
Like, I am a very, very pale person. The strawberry blonde, pale skin, that whole thing. And so I always wear sunscreen. I have sunscreen face cream. I have sunscreen in my car. I have so much sunscreen, like many different kinds of it, and I wear it all the time when I'm outside in the sun with short sleeves and everything, because I don't know what to get skin cancer. Listen, there's one time I was at the dermatologist, and it's like, oh, here are all the boxes to check if you think you might be at risk for skin cancer. I checked all of them, and so I'm paranoid about that. And then I see Margarita out here tanning all day long, doing nothing else but tanning, and I'm like, girl,
yeah,
you're gonna ruin your skin.
We here at the Sassy Detectives podcast, we advocate for good health, so please do not emulate the behavior of Margarita in regards to your outdoor activities. Thank you.
Wear sunscreen, please, because this...
Thank you for coming to our talk.
Her skin is like, girl... Anyway, she's mean and judgy, but she has a fun accent, so there's that.
And she also talks about how much money she has and how important it is to her. That's Margarita, kind of in a nutshell. And then you can leave and go back down into the house, and then you go outside the main door to get your package, and you literally run into Helena.
Yeah. And then you help her, you help her pick up her letters that she dropped, and she's like, oh my goodness, there's a parcel for you. And so you go get the parcel, and it's like, oh, here are your things from the bank. It's definitely the bank and not the what is it? The
GDIF?
The GDIF. Yeah, it's definitely from the bank. And oh yeah, we didn't even explain that.
Oh yeah, so
anyway, Nancy's working as a spy.
Yeah, sorry. We forgot to start with that. Nancy is sent to Venice to work for the GDIF, which is basically, from what I understand, like the Italian version of like the CIA or something?
Like the FBI or something. I don't know.
It's or something like that.
It's fancy. It's fancy, yeah.
Yeah, so she's working undercover, and so the letter that you get is an ATM card to a bank, and it's totally a legit and real ATM. Wink wonk.
Like, I think it is, just with that card, it's also special, you
Yeah.
know? But
So,
yeah.
so then if you take the ATM card to the ATM machine, which is at the Piazza San Marco, you activate the card, and then you learn about all of the things that have been stolen lately that you have to try to figure out who and why and how.
Yeah. So we have two people that we know are involved. We know that Antonio Fongo is involved, and he's, I don't know, is he like an accountant or a computer science dude?
I
Like
think so.
IT? I don't know.
I know he's like a corresponder.
Yeah, I just don't know what his actual job is because I don't care.
Oh, okay.
And we also have the Phantom, which we don't know who he is. We don't know who the Phantom is. We just know that it's this dude who walks around. I mean, he doesn't walk around. He does parkour off the rooftops and everything. Like, this game came out in 2007, and after this game came out, Assassin's Creed 2 came out, and you want to know who also climbs on Venice rooftops with a cape?
Ezio
Not only the
Auditore.
Phantom of Venice, yes, Ezio Auditore. And so I'm like, okay, but if we have like the Phantom of Venice, if it just takes place in just the present day, then Nico Petit, who is the Phantom, he's definitely an Assassin's Creed fan. Like,
Oh,
he's definitely an Ezio Auditore fanboy who's like, I'm gonna be climbing on the rooftops of Venice. Parkour! You know?
yeah.
But yeah, so we have that, and they also give us what are the other things that they give us? Well, they give us some stuff in the thing. Did they, like, is it like the binoculars or
Yeah,
something?
binoculars, because we have to watch
Yeah.
Fondo. And
Yeah, they give us the binoculars and the PDA.
yeah, PDA.
Yeah, they give us that too. Yeah. And then you can talk to Sophia, who is your contact, and she's cool. You can basically only call her at certain points,
Oh,
or she calls you.
don't
Yeah?
forget, at the kiosk outside of the bank ATM, you can buy the Sassy Detectives magazine.
Yeah.
I just had to say it because we are,
Yeah.
we're Sassy Detectives.
Yes, of course. We are amazing and sassy. So we have that, and you can also buy pigeon food nearby too. They have
Heck
like
yeah.
little seeds, and that's cute because there's a lot of pigeons everywhere, which will come in the plot. But
Oh.
and so
I wanted to ask you,
yeah,
how do you
Uh-huh.
feel about the travel system in this game?
I like it.
I do too. I like that you have options.
Like, yeah,
do you ever
I
pay
like
for the gondoliers?
Yeah, the gondoliers. I made a Tumblr post like quite a few years back now, and it was me just doing all of the not. I wrote down all of the songs that I recognized from the gondoliers, and I know they had like the Santa Lucia. Or is it Lucia? I don't know. Yeah, Lucia. There's also, I think they had Caro Mio Ben again, but they had a lot of them. I can't find this. Okay, because I had a post and I had like all of them written out, and I was like, yeah, these are just, if you ever want to listen to them, these are them. But I really like listening to it, and I also like how only the ones that you pay a lot of money for sing well.
Yeah. It's like you
So,
get what you
like,
pay
the
for,
one- Yeah, so like if you pay like €2, you have somebody singing very off key. But if you pay like a lot of money, that you have somebody who does sing well. But like if you're gonna be a cheapskate, you're gonna get a bad performance.
And I like that you have the option of nice silent Luigi.
I love Luigi. He just does his job and
Yeah, he's
takes
just
you.
here to do his job and go home.
Oh yeah. We stand Luigi in this house. The budget
Yeah.
gondolier. But yeah, he's very fun, and so we can go there. And we can also go to it's aren't we supposed to like go to Fungo's office to like break in now?
Um, I don't remember. I think we have to watch him at least once first, right?
I think yeah, maybe.
So I think we go back to the Conoscosta and the pager beeps.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
then if you go up to the balcony and you can like stand on the edge of the balcony and use your binoculars to like peek on Fongo through the window, and you see him like messing with a pigeon on the window.
Mhm.
And then I think after that whole like cutscene, Nancy like automatically calls Sophia, and Sophia's like, "We need to track the pigeon. We're gonna leave a tracking device for you at the costume shop in the Campo Santa Maria Formosa, and so you need to go get that and then feed it to the pigeon."
Yeah. And
So-
now comes to my favorite place in the entire game, which is the costume shop. Not because it's like particularly exciting or anything, but because you can buy the weirdest outfits there. Like they have okay, Tori, what is your favorite outfit or accessory?
I like the clown like top. That one's
The blue clown shirt or the
that one's like a
multicolored one?
personal fave. I do not
Yeah.
wear the baby face mask because it's scary.
I do. I either wear the baby face mask or the mustache.
Oh, okay.
I love them both so much, but like imagine like because Margarita's always like, you Americans dress so weird no matter what you wear and stuff.
So you might
and,
as well
like-
lean all the way into that.
Yeah, so I will go around just wearing the baby doll face mask and you know, and so I'm imagining Nancy going all over Venice wearing these outfits. Like, can you imagine?
Nope. But I really
It's the weirdest outfits.
I really
it's
enjoy-
ridiculous. I love it.
mixing and matching. Because who cares
Yeah.
about color schemes? Just wear what makes you feel good, you know?
And if what makes you feel good is goat horns and a baby doll mask and a pirate shirt, then by all means, wear that.
So anyway,
but I will say,
we're at the costume shop. We
Yeah.
have a task. So it's a teensy white pill that you have to find. And if you don't do it fast enough, the pill explodes.
yeah, and you can actually see that happen if you just don't find it.
You'll see the little poof. Which doesn't
But
that
yeah,
seem
and-
terrible that we're about to feed that to a pigeon?
Sophia, like, Nancy does be like, we're gonna feed an exploding device to the pigeon. And Sophia's like, oh, don't worry. If it's inside the pigeon, it's harmless. But, like, as a kid, I was always like, oh my god, we're feeding a bomb to a pigeon.
I know. I always felt really guilty. So now, I think, now that we have birdseed that we've gotten out of the little, whatchamacallit, and we have our little white exploding pill, now we should go to Fongo's office, break in, and feed the pigeons.
Yeah, but we can't break in yet because the door's locked, and we need to pick the lock. And so we have to go back to the car and get, we can get the, bobby pins from her makeup bag, and also she does have like what is it, like NYX and Bobby Brown makeup,
Yeah, something like
and
that.
so or like was it Marc Jacobs or MAC? It was MAC. Yeah, Marc Jacobs is a different brand, but yeah, MAC makeup as well, and so it's like ha ha ha, that's funny, or at least to me it is, but they're all so blurred out that like technically with copyright they can't get in trouble, but like when you know, you know.
Yeah, it's like very obvious
But,
if you're like familiar with the brands.
Yeah, and you can there's also a phone in the room where you can call Prudence Rutherford, who was the person who hired you on this job because something of hers was stolen, and wasn't she the one who sold the car to
Margarita? Yes, I think
no.
so.
Or no, or she
maybe
was.
they're just friends.
Yeah, and she is like, "Oh, Margarita, I know you, so you have to house Nancy," and stuff like that, I guess. But anyway, so you can call Prudence Rutherford, and she's hilarious. I love her. Doesn't she say something where they're like, "Oh, get off that bag! Stop grabbing the bag! Don't." Well, yada yada. But she starts like freaking out, and Nancy's like, "Oh, is it your dog again?" She's like, "No, it's my husband."
Yeah, so
like,
funny.
Like, damn, Prudence. But you can also call the Hardy Boys, and so Frank is not there. He's snowshoeing somewhere, but Ned is, and so it's Ned and Joe that you can talk to depending on the time. And there's this hilarious little subplot of Ned, his car isn't working, and so he's been taking the bus, and he has had Joe tinker on it. And when he tells Nancy that, Nancy's like, "Ned, I told you never let Joe tinker with your car. Don't let him tinker with anything." And Ned's like, "Well, it seemed like he knew what he was doing." And he's like, "Oh, he does. It's just that will never get done." Like, he's gonna just get sidetracked and do a ton of other stuff, too.
Ned is just so precious. I know we've talked about him, but...
Yeah, I love him. And also with this whole side plot with Joe and everything, like this and many other instances is what solidifies my headcanon that Joe Hardy has ADHD. Like, extremely. Like, I love him. But yeah, I can talk to them, and yeah. Depending on where you are in the game, there's also a cutscene you can get around here where there is a basket of sausages.
The sausages!
The sausages! And Nancy is like, "Oh, these sausages sure look interesting." And it says, like, "Nancy, this is for you. I saw them in a store and I thought of you."
Which, what a weird thing to say.
Yeah, and you can, like, decide whether or not you want to eat them. Like, you can just leave them there, or you can eat them, and then you go out into the main room and you pass out from food poisoning. Mm-hmm. And it's very fun, and everyone's like, "Oh, Nancy!" And Helena is like, "Oh, Nancy, you're positively clean!" And I always remember that one. But then you wake up and people are like, "Oh, good, you're alive. You didn't die by sausage poisoning."
And Colin says that he did not send the sausages when you ask him.
Yeah, because Colin has a huge crush on Nancy, and so, like, why would anybody else here think of her and buy her something? Because, you know, they're all very, like, distant from each other, and then Colin's like, "Oh, Nancy, you're so pretty." And then he also asks her about her necklace. He's like, "Who gave you that necklace?" And she's like, "Oh, this locket, my boyfriend." And he's like, "Oh, oh, that's so interesting." Yeah. There's a whole thing where he's like, "I don't like that bloke," and stuff, where he's just like,
"You've never met him, you dingus."
Yeah, like, I don't like Colin.
Yeah. He's possessive in all the wrong ways.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you've known her for, like, less than a day. Yeah. What? But anyway, so you can get the bobby pins, and you can go back and you can break into Fungo's office, and there's, like, a bunch of stuff there, like, you can snoop in his filing cabinets, and in his filing cabinets, there is a deck of Scopa cards, and we were going to talk about Scopa. We are going to talk about Scopa
for real.
Yes, but then you can also see, like, a lot of, like, travel brochures, stuff like that. You can go on to his computer and look at, if you find the password, that is, but we'll get to the password later. But you can go and feed the pigeon the stuff, the seeds, because if you already bought seeds, which I always buy a lot of seeds when I play this game, because even though I'm never going to use them, like, why not? You know, it's Nancy, she's going to grow whatever. But you can feed that to the pigeon, and the pigeon eats it, and you can turn around, you're like, great, cool, the pigeon ate something, and then your PDA starts going off, which means Fongo is in the building.
You gotta
so you
hide.
have to go.
You gotta
hide.
hide.
You gotta hide. You gotta find somewhere, and so you go into this closet thing. Is it a closet?
It's like a filing cabinet or something. But when I was a kid, the first time I played this game, I kept trying to hide under the desk.
Oh no!
And I was like, it's not working.
Oh yeah, I every time I panic though, like this. Okay, we were going to get into some things in this game later that always make me panic, but especially later on, there's. This
clicking becomes very fast.
Yes, and so you just like you speed on in there, and then he walks in as you are hiding in the cabinet, and he's drinking his coffee, and he talks to the bird. And then he walks over to the cabinet, and you can see him, and he notices that it's open, and he just shuts it. And he did not see Nancy, and every time that happened, when I was playing this as a kid, I would just be like, oh my god, he's gonna find me! Even though I already, like, played it, and I knew he wasn't, like, it's the anticipation of him, like, almost seeing Nancy. Yeah. Like, you know! And then he leaves. And as you open the door to get out of it, a poster on the inside of the door, tape falls off the corner, and so like the corner falls down. So you have to push it back up, and it's a bunch of commedia dell'arte masks, which is Italian comedy,
like characters,
play
right?
stuff. Yeah, characters, yeah. And there's like a lot of like different plays and stuff, and each mask has a different role in the plays and different like stereotypes and stuff about them. But then she looks at them and she's like, huh, some of these are crossed out, and there's only a few of them that are there. And if you look at one of the masks, there is an image on the password loading screen for Fongo's computer that is the same as the mask for Il Capitano. And so you can take Il Capitano and put that into his laptop, or no, not his laptop, his computer, and ta-da, you're in. And so you can find a lot of like travel tickets and stuff like that, and like flight cancellations. And there's also a lot of chess logs on his thing, where it's like he'll play a game, a really short game sometimes, really long game some other times, and then the person he's playing with in the online chess will say, like, good game. I saw a game like this played once at this very specific place on this bench at the park. And then, like, stuff like that. So it's very suspicious. Obviously, it's not about chess because those are really weird moves to be making with chess.
Yeah.
But then there's that, and there's also a little, like, merry-go-round, a carousel horse music box that you can wind up, and it plays Santa Lucia, which is
dun dun dun
is it,
dun,
like
dun dun dun.
Da, 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 da. Yeah, and it's very fun, very cute song. But with this part, like in the rest of the game, when you hear it, like with the gondola stuff, it doesn't sound that sinister, but whenever I heard it on the music box, I was always like, this is sinister. I know it. There's something wrong with this. But there's that, and then you can go out, and after that, you can, trying to figure out, but I think you also go back to the car or something. Do you go back to the car? I don't know, but I think you go back, and then you can...
You have to follow... I know you have to track the pigeon.
Yeah, you have to track the pigeon. Yeah.
And the pigeon has flown to the Campo Santa Margarita, which is in front of the Casa de Giochi.
Yeah! A nice, fun little nightclub that we are not allowed to go into. Like, there's a camera at the door, and they're like, you do not have permission to enter. And she's like, but what if I, like, really want to go in? And they're like, no, absolutely not. Go away.
Mm-hmm.
And so she can't. But you can go and you can click on the correct pigeon. If you don't click on the correct pigeon, they all fly away. And you have to chase it around the map to find it. But it always goes back to, but like you always know that the first place it stopped was the club. And so you get the message from the pigeon, and it says, Hello!
Exclamation
with a little
point.
exclamation at the end. Yeah. And it's just like, that's suspicious. And, and after that, Sophia calls you, and she's like, hey, so what is the message? And Nancy's like, it just says hello with an exclamation mark. And Sophia's like, microdots. And which, as a kid, I knew about microdots. And so I thought it was, like, super cool. And, like, my sister had no idea what a microdot was. And so she was like, but it's a dot. Like, why are you excited about a dot? I'm just like, oh, but you see, it's got a secret hidden message, and it's super cool, and you can only see it with, like, a really strong lens and stuff. But for me, it was really cool as a kid, because, as a middle schooler who read those little how to be a spy books from the children's nonfiction section at the library.
Yeah.
It was interesting. Yeah, and so you can also go to the back of the club or the side of the club, whatever you want to call it, and you can look in the dumpster because Nancy, of course, goes dumpster diving for no reason in Italy. Like, what is she doing? Like, there's no prompt to this, is there?
She's just like, let me just stick my hand in here.
Yeah, and, like, there's a ton of gross stuff. Like, there's rotten food. Isn't there, like, fish bones or something?
Yeah.
And, like, some flippers with a bite taken out of them.
Mm-hmm.
And
you do get some interesting things, though.
You do. Like an article thingy that is about a certain person named Justin Beaumont. And
but the picture
that person
looks like Colin Baxter.
It looks a little bit too similar to Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
Like, suspicious. And then there's also a letter to Enrico Tazza about somebody named Samantha Quick. And she is supposed to be, like, a super spy thief person. Like, very well trained in thievery.
Espionage lady.
Espionage and stuff. And it's like she will be there soon after a carnival. And she will, be vibing. And when she comes, she will be wearing a red dress, white gloves, black sunglasses, and she has blonde hair. And you know where you can find all those accessories? At the costume store.
Yep.
And so you can go there, and if you have enough money from doing weird stuff, you can go there. So then you can go back to the car, and there's chocolates at the table where you get your parcels and stuff. And they are addressed to Il Dottore. And there's a lot of chocolates in there. Like, they're pretty and everything. And you know what you can... wait, no, it's not these ones. But, so nobody at the car seems to know who Il Dottore is. Because you ask everybody and they don't know. They're like, I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. But you can look at them and, I don't know. Who is receiving a secret message? I mean, a secret admirer chocolate thing.
Yeah, especially because they're just sitting outside in the sun.
Yeah, and because, like, they're gonna melt. But you can also go inside, and there's also a box of chocolate on the table, and you can eat those. Like, you can eat all of them.
Inside.
And
but I think when you come back to the car at this time, when you see the chocolates, when you go upstairs and you're about to go into the car, this is where you overhear Helena and Colin talking to Margarita about Nancy. I think
Yeah.
this is when
And
that happens. Is like they're like gossiping about her, and then you can just like bust in,
Yeah.
and everybody acts like they weren't just talking about you.
no, but like you can listen, and she's like, oh, they're talking about me. I shouldn't listen, but I will.
But I'm going
funny.
to anyway.
Yeah, and I love her. But then you can talk about you can talk to everybody, and they can talk to Helena about stuff and like what she knows about like the Phantom, and she thinks it's super cool. And she's like, "What if the Phantom were a woman? Now that would be a story I'd be willing to write." And she also is it now that she tells her about the phone call she heard. I don't know, but
About
I think it's later.
I think so. It can happen, I think,
Yeah.
at a few
But,
different spots, but eventually
yeah.
I think she tells you that she overheard Colin answer the phone saying, "This is
Yeah.
Justin."
Yeah, there are quite a few things in this game that are not linear. But you can also ask her about like, oh, what's one of your favorite places in Venice? And she's like, oh, there's this club, the club something Mikio or something like that. Let me see. Cause it's but she tells you that you can go there and it's really cool. And so you can go there and then there's this dude who's American who just talks like this, and he's like, are you here for the auditions? Just put on the suit, go on, read the book, and go on the stage. And Nancy's like, okay. And so you can read the book and go on the stage and and you're wearing this skin-tight cat costume on the stage dancing for money at a nightclub. And
Which I think the dancing is actually kind of difficult, but I will admit I do a lot of it because I think it's pretty fun.
it's hilarious. Like, this is the most wild minigame they've ever had in a Nancy Drew game. Like,
I want to
imagine?
I want to know what the pitch meeting was like at Her Interactive for this.
If Nancy dancing at a nightclub for money, but like you can even tell Ned that, and he's like, Nancy, I'm not sure I like that.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
And not only that, but you're going to be in a skin-tight cat suit with ears.
It's so weird. But
Yeah.
I love it so much. Oh, it's
funny,
iconic.
though. I mean, it's funny.
It is hilarious. But anyway, that is another way you can get money in this game, and it's because you hear that from Helena. So back to in the car, you can ask Colin if you can use the microscope, and he's like, why? And Nancy's like, why not? And he's like, okay, fine. And you can also ask him, and yeah, I think this is when Helena tells her about Justin. And so you can talk to him about that. And he's like, all right, I did steal a painting, or I did steal art, or whatever. And he's like, but it was because the person who had it didn't treat it the way it was supposed to be. And Margarita knows this and has been blackmailing him into using the cheapest stuff to do the reconstruction and restoration of the car. And it's like, okay, so Colin sucks, Margarita sucks, Helena's boring, but yeah, so then you can look at the microwave?
The
microscope. The microscope.
Hey, sir, can I please use your microwave?
Yeah.
My sausages were not warm.
That's okay, honestly, like leaving the cut up sausages at room temperature for a long time probably was not great.
Made her sick.
Yeah. But the message reads, Il Dottore requests you to change the safe room lock combination to 43556.
Ooh.
Very suspicious. Very suspicious.
Safe room.
Yeah. So then you can go to talk to Margarita, and you know, she doesn't like Nancy. She says that Helena is like super into being a socialite and really wants to just party all the time and go to all these fancy places. And Nancy's also like, hey, about Colin, and she's like, whatever. And it's like, Margarita is not a great person, at all. So,
You know how
there's
there's a letter on the table beside
uh-huh.
Margarita, and when you try to read it,
Mhm.
one of my favorite lines, and I quote this sometimes, is when she's like, "I did not write that for you to read."
I love everything she says. I like, do I hate her because she's annoying? Yes. But is she also iconic? Yeah.
Yes.
Um,
So
oh, I
that
love
line
this
I like
game.
a lot. I did not write that for you
Yeah.
to read.
It's so good. But then you can, oh, is this when you call see Funko again? I don't know. But
I
then
don't
you
think so.
can,
I think you do need to check in with Sophia though,
yeah.
because now
And I
you have
usually do that in
suspicions
the
about
bathroom.
everybody.
hmm And she's like, okay, so everybody there is, you know, sus, and one of them is Il Dottore, and so we want you to bug everyone there and put tracking devices on them. Um, so actually, no, they're not bugged. They just have tracking devices so they can figure out where they are. They probably should have bugged them though, because that
Yeah,
probably
it
would
would have
have
been
been
easier
better.
to just listen to
Um,
everything.
but they did put track. They did say tracking devices, and Nancy says they're in the three things that next Nancy says, um, they should get a sunglasses case for Margarita, just a regular tracking device to put in Helena's pen, and a tesserae tile for Colin. And Sophia's like, a tesserae tile? You think he's gonna keep a tesserae tile with him on his person? And she's like, oh, it's if it's from me, he will. But
Uh-huh.
I'm like, even if it wasn't from Nancy, he'd keep it with him at all times anyway, because it's Tesserae, and we know who he is about Tesserae.
Yeah.
Like, the man does not calm down at all. Like, he's really into it.
We all have our things, I guess.
Yeah. I just, if you weren't so, uptight and pushy and annoying about it, I would be fine. But like, forcing people to like your interests and getting mad at them when they don't is just an ick for me after a
Yeah,
lot of things he
it's
does as an
not.
ick.
It's like most people who have like they're like really into some niche thing and they like want to talk about it and you can see their eyes get sparkly when you tell them to tell you about it or whatever. It's
Yeah.
endearing. It is not that with Colin.
No, like he is like, if you do not like this and listen to every single thing I say, you've betrayed me and I hate you. And it's
Why
like,
don't you just punch me in the
damn,
face? That's
son.
like
Yeah,
basically
like
Colin's.
that would hurt less.
Yeah.
Then you can go and get all the costume stuff that you need to go into the place, the thing,
The Casa de
um,
Giochi,
the
the
Casa
House of
de
Games.
Giochi. And so you can put on you have to buy everything. They have to go back to the car to put everything on. Because right now you're probably wearing the cat suit. But you can Helena's in the bathroom, and so you can put her thing or tracking device and her pen, and you can also read her notes that she's been writing if you bought the German dictionary from the stand outside. And
Hmm.
she has a lot of fun notes, but she also has one about Sunny June,
Yeah.
and she's like, okay, this kid is weird, entertaining, has pink and green hair, weird
Hmm.
kid. And yeah, that's how he is. So that's a fun little Easter egg. Not a literal Easter egg, but there are some literal Easter eggs in this game. Um, but yeah, so we have that, and then you can go give the tracking device to Margarita as well. But then you go to the Giochi at the club.
Yeah, yeah.
The club.
Casa de Giochi,
So you can go there.
the House of
Casa
Games.
de Giochi. Yeah. And so you can go there, and you're wearing the Samantha Quick getup. The blonde hair, red dress, um, sunglasses, white gloves. I always buy the red ruby slippers as well for this outfit because why not? You know,
Yeah.
it's even more slay. But then you can go in there, and they're like, Samantha Quick, you are here sooner than expected.
This is
And
Enrico
she's
Tazza,
like,
and I think he is the most
yeah,
interesting character in this game.
No, I love him. Like, he is so cool and interesting because, like, he's, in charge. He's one of the key operators in a crime ring. And
I have a fun
everybody knows
story.
he's suspicious.
I have a
Oh,
fun
yes, tell
story
the
about
story. Tell the
Enrico.
story.
And one time I was playing Phantom of Venice with a friend of mine, and we were getting a little bit frustrated with losing at Scopa. So we started calling Enrico Ricky, and now that's what I refer to him as.
Now I'm thinking Ricky from Boys Planet 999, where it's like, young and rich, tall and handsome, baby Ricky. Probably
gosh.
2 people get that reference.
It's me and
it's
you.
Hilarious. It's me and you.
That's it.
Yes. Anyway,
Sorry, our interests are overlapping now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then we can. So then so Nancy's there. You can do all this spy stuff. You can act like, oh, I definitely know what I'm doing. Or you can be like, I just don't want to talk until I get my money and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Enrico says that he doesn't talk business until somebody can beat him at Scopa. And so you basically are forced to beat Enrico at Scopa. And a lot of people hate him because of Scopa. But I also
Scopa.
love his voice. I love Scopa. It's such a fun game. And
Scopa
there's
is
this
my
one
vote for best Nancy Drew minigame in the entire series.
Honestly, yeah, because I do play this one in real life with my sister. Like, I'll just take out all the cards that aren't needed for the game, and then we'll just play it with the cards that we have in the deck. Like, we just take a normal set of cards. And then we'll just play it with that. And it's so much fun. And we've taught it to, like, a ton of our friends and stuff. It's such a fun game. And although it does get really annoying when Enrico has a Scopa every turn he takes, and you want to reach through the screen, grab his neck, and choke him, and scream at him, "Stop cheating at Scopa! I know you have 7s up your sleeve!"
You stacked this deck, bro!
Yeah,
but otherwise,
I get aggressive with Scopa.
If you guys listened to our Captive Curse episode, you know how much we both love Raid. So
yeah,
I love
Raid
Scopa even more.
Yeah. Scopa. I love Scopa so much.
Also, do you remember when Her Interactive uploaded Scopa as a minigame onto the website?
I did. I do remember that, yeah.
I played that a lot.
Alas.
Rip.
If only I could play it again. Rip.
Yeah.
Because I would play that, like, all the time.
Well, after it was, like, basically inaccessible, I just saved a save file in Phantom of Venice.
Yeah.
So that I could load up that save file and just play Scopa.
Yeah, I also have that save file. With some of the games, I do have to have a save file just for the mini games. I could just go in and play a mini game that I really like because they're fun. Yeah. But yeah, you beat him at Scopa, and then he tells you about this job where you're supposed to steal a sapphire from Palazzo Zatere and Zatere. And it's very he says it's a very sophisticated system, and we will get to that. And he says to go to go and get this outfit from a certain dude or something. Wait, no, that isn't it.
He says that you need like a bodysuit to go do this.
Yeah, bodysuit.
And so you're like, well, luckily, I actually know where to get that.
So, we already have the cat suit, so we've got that down. Also, one of the funny things is that if you don't put on the ears, it will not let you in.
Really?
Like, yeah. So you need the entire outfit.
You need the cat ears in order to... Okay.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So, yeah, that's funny. But, so you have that, and he says that Gina can help. And do you remember the name Gina?
Yes, she's the one that does chess with Fango.
Yeah! And so, basically, what we have to do then is we have to get a book about chess from
the algebraic chess notation, or whatever it's called.
Yeah. So you get that from the stand where you can also get the sunglasses and the Sassy Detective magazine and the
most
German
important
dictionary.
piece of
The most
literature
important
in the game.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. But then you can get that and you go to Fongo's office when he's not there, and you what is it? You go in there and you the alarm goes off on your PDA, and that means Fongo's coming again, so you have to run and hide in the cabinet again. And then he goes there and he opens the filing cabinet on the other side of the room, and then he closes it. And Nancy can get out when he's gone and look at it, and there's a card missing. And it's apparently the valet of clubs. Ooh. Suspicious. But then you can go to the laptop and put in Il Capitano and then play chess with Gina, and she is on. And so you can, and her name is Scaramuccia.
Mm-hmm.
So
Scaramouche, can you do the Fandango?
But so then you can do all of the you can use the code with the chessboard things that correspond with letters, and you can put in the letters to spell Palazzo Zetere. And she's like, cool. I've seen a chess game like that by the recycling bin at the Rialto Market tomorrow morning. And so Nancy's like, oh, cool. I'll go there then. And so you go there, and and you have to go back to the car now, and you go to sleep. Nancy's like, I need to sleep now. And then we have one of the most iconic cutscenes in the entire series. So Nancy wakes up to the face of the Phantom. We just hear this green mask in her face, and he grabs the necklace from around her neck. And then the camera pans to Helena coming out of the bathroom. She has like this
face mask on.
Yeah, the face mask on, like the green goo and stuff, and she just screams, and then the Phantom just runs out the window and jumps down, and Nancy rushes to the window and tries to see him, but he's gone, and he took Ned's locket. Oh no! And and then it's the morning now. It skips the rest of the house, but that is like such an iconic cutscene, from the way she wakes up to a thief stealing her locket, which is probably just like a cheap jewelry locket from like Walmart or something. And then there's Helena screaming with her face mask on.
That's the funniest part.
Then just pops down and disappears. I love it. But then you get a call from Mrs. Rutherford from Prudence in the morning, and she's like, "Oh, how dare you! You're letting him get away!" And I love Prudence Rutherford. I do. But then you can, you look in the what was it? Yeah, you can go to.
I think at this point your PDA goes off again, right?
Yeah, but you can hear but it turns out that the door was unlocked to the car. And
Helena and Colin are arguing about this.
Yeah, and they're like, well, I didn't leave it unlocked. Well, I didn't leave it unlocked. And so it was definitely Nancy who left it unlocked, because guess what you can actually do in the game? You can lock the door. And I only found out about that last year, that you could lock the door.
Really?
So I just left it. Yeah, I thought it was just like an automatic thing that you just did with the game. Because a lot of times, like, you don't think...
I used to do it faithfully because I think Margarita says at the beginning of the game, lock the door when you leave, or something like that.
Yeah, she always says lock the door when you leave. But I never, like... considered that as a thing, because normally you don't lock Nancy Drew games. You don't lock doors in the games. You just unlock them, or pick the locks or something, and that's it. But no, in this one you do lock the game, and so it's like, for me, it was definitely me that left it open, because I never unlocked it. I mean, I never locked it ever.
What they won't know won't hurt
so
them,
then,
right?
yeah. So you also get a PD alert, and you're like, gotta go up to the roof and spy on Fongo now. And so you go up there, and you see who in Fongo's office with him? We see Margarita. That is why she's not on the roof. She's in Fongo's office, and she is, like, yelling at him, waving a piece of paper at him in his face, and then she's like, and then she leaves, and Nancy is just like, what? What? Like, this suspicious. Ooh. And then you can get the letter on the table, and you can read it, and it's, like, nothing that's super important to the case, I guess. Because I don't remember what's on it. I just know that you can translate it here.
Just a letter to, like, a friend of hers or something.
Yeah. Oh, I need to say my favorite piece of Margarita lore here. So, her husband is the reason why she was rich. She married him, and I'm pretty sure he was German, but he lived in Venice. He was super, super, super rich dude. And he died and left her everything. And the way he died is so funny. I mean, okay, that sounded really bad, but the way he died is really funny because he died because he had a bunch of dog treats in his pockets, and he fell into the canals, and the dog treats filled up with water. And so he drowned, and I'm like, out of all the ways he could have died, and I'm pretty sure Margarita murdered him because, like, she's definitely the type to murder her rich husband so she can get all the money. Like,
we've seen Margarita totally on the Lifetime network before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's but anyway, so I don't really, if Margarita's involved with crime stuff, like, I definitely would not doubt it. But anyway, so that's really suspicious. And then you go down to the hall again, and you see Cullen, and he has this little Chinese puzzle box, and she's like, oh, that's cool. And he's like, yeah, I don't know. It's just there. I won it in a card game, you know. I don't know about it. But I was playing cards with my friends, and he put that up for gambling with, so this will come back later.
Yes.
So that puzzle box, suspicious as heck. But then you can go and get the stuff that was left by Scaramuccia, which is
at the Rialto Market.
Yeah, at the Rialto Market. You go and get the little thing, the microdot message at the Rialto Market. And, and it has microdot in it, so, like, yay, we have to go back and get the microscope. And the light bulb goes out. The microwave! And the light bulb goes out. And Colin is like, how dare you? How dare you ruin my microscope?
How could you be so careless? Whoa,
yeah,
buddy,
he's
chill
just
out.
so angry. Yeah, he's so angry about it. And Nancy's like, I just turned it on. And so he's like, fine, I'll go get one. And then he goes, and in the meantime, we have to redo a bunch of tiles, and I love this tile puzzle so much.
I do too.
Like, it is so much fun, and basically you have an image that you're supposed to recreate with the tiles, and it's really nice and relaxing.
The game allows you, like, I think 3 or 4 total, like, errors. Anything more than that, and it, like, Nancy comments that it's not complete or she did it wrong or something. So you have a little bit of grace. I think you have less grace if you are playing on senior. But I think that this is kind of like a relaxing puzzle. Like, it's a little tedious.
It is.
And I would say if you are already a little bit mentally tired, it might be slightly frustrating. But I think, like, otherwise, if you're just, like, in a nice, calm, relaxed, like, place.
We'll get to frustrating.
Yeah, true. But I think if you're, like, in a nice, like, calm, relaxed place when you play this puzzle, like, I think it's kind of nice. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, and then you, and the microdot has, like, this huge, message in it. And I have it here, but it's like, Vlad is in Gstaad for the rest of the month, so I won't show up. The Sapphire's housed in the warehouse below the palazzo. The entrance is barred. You'll need an anti-thermal suit for the job, which is, yeah, and it's like, if you've lost yours, Fausto at Club Mikio, I don't know, and Campo San Polo is the only one left, so we have it already. But yeah, they also say, well, he actually doesn't do crime anymore, but if you want to date one of the dancers, you can take that thing. But we are one of the dancers, so and then yeah, it just says, oh yeah, and it has a really cool and fancy robotic sentries, and there are 4 power circuits they have to find and overload to temporarily shut the power off that feeds the alarm system protecting the Sapphire. And it's at the center of the warehouse. And yeah, and so you can get that on, and you can go to Palazzo Zatere, and also in the microdot they also had the sequence of symbols that you need to put in for the keypad.
Yeah.
So you put those in, and you're wearing the catsuit, and now comes my least favorite part of any Nancy Drew game.
For me.
I am not a rage quitter. I don't get super freaked out in video games. Like, I don't. I'm not like that. It's, it's a video game. It's just fun for me. But this part in the game, I have rage quitted or quit. I don't know. I've rage quit this part of the game so many times. Like, one of my most memorable memories of this game was I was in my bedroom. It was 2020, so Nancy Drew was my entire life back then. And so I was in my bedroom playing Phantom of Venice, and I was like screaming in frustration because I'd been trying to do this whole thing for like an hour, and I was going insane, and I was just, I screamed, and I was like, oh, so many times, and my sister walks in, and she's like, hey, Rae, Mom's worried about you. Are you okay? It's like these freaking evil Roombas.
Yeah. Yeah, the evil Roombas with the lasers of death are definitely frustrating.
I hate them. Because, like, if you get it...
Have you noticed that there are some rooms that if you enter them from a certain way, it's, like, impossible...
Yeah, like it automatically sees you.
Enter certain rooms through certain doors.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter how fast you are going to get hit by a laser.
Yeah, like it...
because the Roomba is, like, reset,
Yeah, and I hate them. I hate them so much.
When you finally get to, like, one of the electric panels and you're doing, like, the random memory puzzle to shut it off, that part's fine. It's navigating
around.
That part. Okay, so I also have a story about this time, okay?
Please tell.
So, I have a good friend on Twitch, and he will sometimes play Nancy Drew games, and it's been a fun, like, tradition for us that when he streams Nancy Drew games, I will, like, jump on and, like, voice chat, and we'll just, like, voice chat while he plays. So he's playing Phantom of Venice, and he gets to this part, and I say, okay, just so you know, this is probably going to take you a while. It tends to take people a while. It's very frustrating. Like, just, don't get too frustrated. Like, just try to have fun with it. And if you want to take a break or whatever, like, it's fine. I was trying to, like, get him mentally ready. He did this whole thing in, like, 12 minutes with no issue. I was angry.
Minutes? Oh my god. First time?
Yes. He was just this isn't that bad. And I was like, you know what?
Not that bad. Not that bad. I
was like,
as much
this
as
is
I
the
love
part
this
where
game.
everybody usually gets mad. So, I don't know. Maybe he just had, like, a magic touch or something, but I was so impressed, to be honest.
I hate the evil Roombas. I hate them so much. Like,
so anyway, we find you if you grind your way through this part of the game and you get the Sapphire. And okay, here's when I was a kid. Okay, did you have this moment too? where like you get the 4 power circuits down, you go to the center room, you grab the sapphire. Did you expect to be transported out?
No.
Oh, because I did. And so when I realized I had to continue to walk back through to the exit, I got upset again.
I was just, I lost all faith in her interactive for making me go through that. So I was just like, no, I am sad. I am so sad. And so I just, like, I expected the worst. And if I got caught again, I would cry. Yeah, because what else am I going to do? But then you can go back to Enrico. You can
Ricky.
give him... Yeah, you can give him the sapphire, and then he gets a phone call, and he's like, okay, here we go. And he talks to the phone. He's like, Nico. Oh, good. So you got that thing? Okay, good. You lost the puzzle box? How did you lose the puzzle? Yeah, the one that you get from where you can open it by shaking it. Yeah, that one. You idiot.
Yep.
You're so stupid for doing that. So now
For a,
you know about
for
the
a guy
puzzle
who
box.
deals with spies and stuff, he should know better than to just say things like that in front of people.
Yeah, well, he also thinks that Samantha is one of his people, you know?
True.
So I guess he does trust her like that. But it's so funny now because a lot of people don't make this connection, but that means that Nico Petit is friends with Colin Baxter.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were at a card game together, and he said he won it off of a friend.
Yep.
And so we have 2 art thieves. So Colin, he's connected with this, no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter what anybody thinks, he is connected for sure. And a lot of people just, ignore that when we get to the end of the game. But no, he is connected, and, very suspicious. I want more information on this. Yeah. I love it. It's left very open-ended with, like, why there's a lot of stuff going on with him, but I do like it. But anyway, so you beat him at Scopa again because that's the only way he'll pay you, and then you can go back to the car. And then there is a note on the pillow of Nancy's
the letter
pillow.
from Colin.
And he's like, I'm telling you goodbye and everything. And that is the same handwriting that was on the sausages.
So he lied about not sending them.
He did lie about those, yeah. But then he
flags.
can go and he left. Yeah, and he said, since you thought the puzzle box was cool, I left it for you because you're amazing, Nancy, and you that. So, anyway, so you can go and you can shake it, and then the thing pops open. You can solve the puzzle and stuff, and then you can look inside, and there is a Scopa card code. And it basically says each Scopa card represents a certain thing, like where we steal, communicate, stuff like that. Very interesting. Then you wake up and Fungo's on the balcony. I mean, Fungo is in his office, so you go to the balcony, but he left before he could get there. You can talk to Margarita, and you're like, hey, so, where were you yesterday? And she's like, oh, yeah, there's somebody threw this flyer in the trash about, Fungo, and, I used to, do stuff with him, but not anymore. He says he doesn't do that stuff anymore, so
yeah,
blah. Which is suspicious, but also not suspicious because Margarita is annoying. But then you can look on the back of the flyer, and it has these numbers: 11 #016. Yes, I said # because I live with my grandma, and so I know boomer speak.
Yeah.
But for the youngins in the audience, oh my
Hashtag.
God, for the hashtag. But then you can go back to Fungo's office, and so do you remember the music box?
Yes.
Santa Lucia.
Mm-hmm.
That one? Yes! Okay, so remember that. So you go to the fax machine, and you type in the numbers from the back of the thing, and it prints out these little circles that are in the same pattern as the numbers on the keypad for the fax machine.
Mm-hmm.
And these all have, like, do, re, mi, fa, sol, yada, yada, yada. And you have to press the buttons in the order of the music box stuff. Luckily, you don't have to actually use music skills and ear training skills to point that out, because the subtitles just say, like...
Yeah, it's friendly for people who don't have any, like, music training.
Yeah, so there's that. But then it has the coolest part of the game, which is the directory on the phone machine for the thief ring. And it's like, Il Signore Dottore is president. Il Capitano Communications. Arlecchino
Arlecchino or something like that.
Yeah, something. Shipping and receivings, Scaramuccia, security, Brighella, acquisition. Shout out to Brighella!
Shout out.
Active interns. Shout
I hope
out.
you're having
We
a great
love
day.
you. Yes, we love you. Then it says store locations. HQ, Argon Building. Safe, secure store. Fountain at Campo Santa Formosa. Acquisition partners, aces, knights, and kings. Presidential suites are in Ca Nascosta. Propane storage is in Campo Santa Margarita. All others, check the calendar. It says communications, presidential communications sent by box of chocolates to Il Dottore. Acquisitions are in temporary meeting spaces. Check the card delivered. Security done by chess. And follow-up checked by Scaramuccia. Shipping and receiving is at the propane storage facility.
That was really good.
And so now we know everything that's going on, basically. Like, we know where with the scope of cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we know, like, there are the scope of cards that Fogo has taken out of his thing, so we know which ones those represent, and so we know what the Phantom is going to steal next. We know everything that's going on. And so we call Sophia, because, it says the place that we're going is Palazzo Orpello. And so we call Sophia and we're like, hey, I know what to do. We're doing it. We know where they're striking. We know what's going on. And so she's like, sweet, now we're going to do a stakeout. And so now you have to learn Italian. And by learn Italian, I mean, you learn the basic phrases with the little mouse. And I love him. And so, like, I just want to say, like, rosso, bianco,
albero,
nero, giallo, blu, verde. I just love it.
banco,
Canne,
statua,
topo, terriccio, parete, porta, fiori. I love it so much. It's my favorite
fun
thing. I love it. Like, I just, I have a little mouse in my head. At all times, when I hear Italian, I either hear the little mouse or Ezio from Assassin's Creed. But, yeah, the little mouse. Jello. Okay, and then we have the stakeout. And you basically, in this stakeout, you see the palazzo, and then you also see these little shadows. And if you see a shadow that had somebody that was behind something that one of the agents did not announce, then you click on it, and Nancy says, "It's over there. It's behind the cat."
Yeah,
or something like that.
they'll
be like,
I've seen a lot of like
a
streamers and
little...
Let's Players get really confused at this part, because what they think is that, like, they're like, what are the agents saying? Like, I don't understand what they're saying. And then they just shout out any shadow location that they see. And the point is that you have 5 shadows, and 4 of them are the agents announcing where they are. And so you use that to eliminate them, and you choose the one that's left. And I understand why this is confusing, because if you're not paying attention to what Sophia says to you at the beginning, you will completely miss how to do this.
Yeah, the first time I played it, I definitely did not understand, but now I completely understand.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty fun because like, you get to hear Italian being spoken and you understand it, and that's always really cool when you can be like, oh, I know what they're saying. Automobile, parete, fontana, statua. I love it. I love it. It's so much fun. I just think Italian is one of the most fun languages ever. I love it. But then eventually you catch the thief. You catch Nico Petit, and then it goes back to what was it? Like you go back to the car and like automatically, and then you're on the phone or PDA with Sophia, and she says that they're talking to Nico, but he isn't admitting anything. He's really stupid. A lot of people consider him a himbo. I would also consider him a himbo because he hasn't done anything other than steal things. And he's, obviously very athletic and fit because he's running all over the rooftops and stuff. Yeah. And also he's extremely dumb. So I think he does have a good chance of having high himbo stats.
Okay. I will agree.
Yeah, like all he wants to do is run on the rooftops. Like that's what he joined, I guess.
Yeah.
But they're like, yeah, we thought he was a suspect, but he was too dumb, so we didn't consider him.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
oh, okay.
But anyway, so then Sophia is like, oh yeah, we have this thing that we found in his pocket. We also found this receipt for propano. I mean, well, it would be propane for you, Nancy, because you're American. And Nancy's like, wait, what? Is there anything else on the receipt? Because I saw something really not great. And she's like, oh yeah, it says 3447. And Nancy's like, that is the lock combination to get into the propane container. So, that is where Nancy goes next. And you can go to the propane container at the Casa dei Giochi, and you can unlock it, and there is a key taped to the top of it, to the thing, and then there's also a map to the sewers, and, okay.
Did
so
you
I'm
know
gonna
the map
say
is not in Senior Detective?
Yeah, that's the hard part, is that it is not there in Senior Detective,
and
but
this
so
map
many
is
people...
a lifesaver.
Yeah, so many people play this game, and they do not know that the map is there. They see the map, but they don't use it. They don't remember it. And so it's like... So many people that I've like talked to about this game, they're like, oh my gosh, wait, there's a map? I'm like, yeah, there's a map. You get it in the game.
And not only that, but like the map literally tells you where to stand and do something, and then immediately where to move and do something else. Like, if you have the map, this puzzle is not difficult.
No, it's literally so easy. But if you go if you make one mistake, then it's extremely hard. So it's a really good idea to quick save. No, not quick save, but to make a save file before, to save here, just to make sure if you mess up, you could just go back to the beginning. But if you have the map, it's super easy. And so after that, you go through and there's a ladder, and you go up the ladder, and you get out your flashlight, and you now looking down a hall. And this looks familiar. It looks familiar, but then you can go to that place, and there is a keypad. And what was the first microdot message we got?
Hello!
Change the combination to 43556. Or it has been changed to 43556. And so you put that in, and you look in there, and there's a bunch of crates. And Nancy looks, and there's a bunch of, like, Carnivale masks. And Nancy's like, what's that? And then she opens one, and it is stolen treasure. I mean, stolen art, but whatever. And it's, like, super interesting. And she looks there, and on the maps... I mean, not the maps. Oh my gosh, what? On the crates full of stuff, there is an address and a name. And that address and a name was also on all of Helena's mail, and postcards.
We found the culprit!
So now we know who Il Dottore is.
It's Helena.
It is Helena. And so that's cool, but then the door is shut. And it starts filling up with water, just like in the beginning of the game.
Yep, so now we're caught up to real time, I guess.
Yep. And now it has my least favorite puzzle in the game.
This is my least favorite puzzle, too. I think this is worse than the Roombas.
No, it's not worse than the Roombas, because even if I keep messing up, I will never get jump scared and scream.
I think this is worse than Roombas, but you can think Roombas are worse.
We can agree to disagree.
Yeah, we'll just disagree here. Then, I think this one is the more stressful.
Yeah, well, I mean, you do actually die. But,
yeah, true.
And it is a longer death scene. But, anyway, so then once you get out of there, you climb up the ladder, and then are you in the fountain? Do you, like, crawl up the fountain or something? Or is it, I forgot where you are when you climb back up. I
don't know, you're just, like, in an alley or something. Yeah,
but then you contact Sophia, and you're like, it's Helena. Helena is Il Dottore. She's the one in charge of all of this. And, Sophia's like, okay, good, I'll turn on her tracking device and you have to find her. And so you have to, like, so it'll say, the tracking device will, like, say, like, what travel device thing she's using. Like, is she walking? Is she taking a boat? Is she taking a gondola? And so you have to basically, like, put all those keys and clues together to find her. And sometimes it takes really long time as she escapes. But other times, like, I found her within, like, 2 clicks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it really depends on, like, how fast you have processed everything and can catch up with her. But then you go and you find her, and it's so funny when you find her because she's, like, in an alleyway, and Nancy's like, Helena! And then Helena, like, tries to hide. Like, she's next to a wall that's just very narrow, and so, like, she can obviously be seen. And, like, you could see her, like, looking at Nancy and be like, you can't see me. Oh, hello, Nancy. It's so funny.
Hi, Nancy.
And the cherry on top is that she's like, oh, you like my necklace? And it's that she had go steal off of Nancy the cheap necklace that Ned gave her. And it's so funny.
You're like, dude, take that off.
But then Nancy's like, yeah, and guess who's coming here? It's the GDIF.
Mm-hmm.
And so then they come and they all arrest Helena, and Helena's like, no! And that's the game.
That's the game.
Before we talk about the rest of the game, because, you know, the entire crime ring gets caught and put in jail and stuff, Margarita goes to parties and flirts with young men because she's a cougar, low-key. Sorry about the cougar joke. I'm sorry, I get used to making them with my sister. For context, my sister's boyfriend is a year younger than her, and so his entire family and her entire family, we all make cougar jokes. It's really funny. But anyway, so there's Margarita, and the young guy in the picture, the waiter, looks very uncomfortable. Like I don't know, like, what his face is, but it's not a face of I want to be here.
He kind of looks like he is smelling something bad.
Yeah, that's what he looks like. So, like, poor guy, rip.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can not be Margarita's new husband, who she kills off because he's rich. But I don't know. He's a waiter, so, like, I don't know if she's gonna marry him because he's poor and she wants to be rich. But then we have Colin, and Colin is in a hotel room, and she says, I haven't heard much from Colin or anything. You know, I tried to tell you about what went on. He's like, oh, okay. But in his hotel room, as he's packing up to leave, which doesn't look like he's in Venice, it looks like a big city somewhere, there is a silhouette of a woman.
So I've heard lots of theories that is Samantha Quick.
Yes. Yeah. Like Samantha Quick or Zoe Wolf, who we just talked about last game.
Right. What do you think? Do you think that's the true thing?
I want to believe. I love all these crazy theories that you hear in these games. I love them.
So then does that mean, okay, so you already pointed
Mm-hmm.
out how if Colin got the Chinese puzzle box from a friend and that friend was Nico Petit,
Mm-hmm.
and Nico is obviously involved with Enrico and Enrico is involved in with Samantha Quick, does that mean that through this circle that means that Colin is involved more than we realized and would put him literally in contact with Samantha Quick? So I guess that it could make sense. This is plausible, feasible theory.
Yeah. Oh, we need to have like some kind of thing where we just have crazy theories and we just spout them all out.
Yeah.
But
I have
that
a
is not
crazy
today.
theory. I have a crazy theory that I will bring up when we get to Danger by Design.
Ooh.
So look forward to that.
Yeah. So there's that thing, but like, yeah, and I don't know if by the end of the game, Ned gets his car fixed. But at least he had fun with Joe. So
yeah,
there's that. But anyway, that's the game, and it's super fun, and I love it so much. It's so good. Like, this is one of my favorites. It's just okay. So the plot, absolutely amazing. I love the plot so much. So yeah. So
10 out of
there's
10
that.
for plot for me.
Yeah, 10 out of 10 for plot. I love the spy stuff. Like, this is what the Silent Spy should have been.
Yes, agree.
You know, because, like, the Silent Spy is, like, the Spy Kids of Nancy Drew. This is, like, I've never seen a James Bond movie. The only James Bond-ish movie I've seen is Johnny English with Mr. Bean or Rowan Atkinson. So, like, that's a...
This is definitely more James Bond than the Silent Spy.
It's much more James Bond, or like
James Bondy, and
yeah.
it wasn't.
No, this is like actual like cool spy stuff, and I love it. And I love it so much. Next we have characters and dialogue to talk about. I love it so much. Like, even though I hate all the characters except for Enrico, like, I still love the game.
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
All of these
I think
characters, they add so much to the story.
Yeah. Everybody fits perfectly and, like, serves their role well. And so even though I don't necessarily like them, like, I don't think they're likable, I think that for the purpose of what they're meant to do, they do that perfectly. So I don't really have critiques about the characters. I just think that they're all just, like, red flag problematic people in general.
Yeah, I just remembered something that I forgot to say. So, you know, Nancy does the Palazzo Zateria job in the catsuit and then gets all the money and stuff.
Yeah.
And then she gets a call from Samantha Quick.
Oh, yeah.
Who's also played by Lottie, our lovely Nancy Drew. The same voice, but just deeper. But she's like, next time, there won't be a next time when you steal my identity or something like that. Like, you'd better watch it, sister, or something like that. Very suspicious and like, okay, thank you for threatening me. But anyway, so there's that. And
appreciate
that. My favorite character in this game is definitely Enrico Tassa. Like,
me too.
For sure. Like, he's much more fun to talk to than everyone else.
I'm like, I know he's technically like a bad guy, but like, at least he's like kind of friendly, you know?
Yeah, he's fun to play Scopa with. You know, that's fun. So characters, I'd probably give it like an 8 out of 10, you know?
Yeah, me too.
Because, yeah. So, plot and mystery, we both have 10 out of 10. And for characters and dialogue, we have 8 out of 10. It's so good. Next we have music. For this one, I have to give it a 10 out of 10, because the music is so good.
Kevin Mansley,
I love
like
the music
Kevin
so much.
Mansley, you know? We just...
Mansley!
It's
so
always
good.
accurate.
I just, like, I can't, like, hum any of the tunes out right now, but, like, they're so catchy, and I love them so much.
It's the one that plays when you play Scopa, and it's like, do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do.
Yeah!
Yeah, I just freaking love that song.
Yeah. But also, like...
Oh. Yep.
I love that one so much. And then you have the gondola singers as well.
Mm-hmm.
Those little Italian and Neapolitan tunes. And there's also the club music,
Oh yeah.
which is iconic.
Yeah.
Yeah, like like the random sound effects, like the lasers, pew 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 pew, and the whistle and like the buzzer. It's so random. I love it so much. But yeah, the music, 10 out of 10. I love it.
Yeah,
Now
perfect 10 out of 10.
Puzzles.
There are a couple really frustrating ones. But does Scopa
I'd
count
give
as
it
a puzzle? I guess so.
Yeah,
Scopa's
I'd say it's a
perfect,
mini
so-
game, but Scope is perfect. But like also we have the evil Broombas and the water puzzle, and the sewer puzzles.
I think
so,
that my love for Scopa outweighs all of the sins of those puzzles. So I'm going to say like 8 out of 10 for me for puzzles.
I was gonna say 7.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say 7 out of 10 because like there are some really, but like
Yeah.
the first time I ever rage quit a game. Anyway, the next thing we judge is the atmosphere and setting, which is undoubtedly
it's
10 out of
perfect.
10. No notes. It's so amazing.
Okay,
yeah.
another fun fact about me in this game, and maybe this is
yes.
actually going to sound silly, so I hope that this doesn't end up
silly.
embarrassing me
We're
later.
silly. We are silly geese on this podcast.
Yeah. I just hope this doesn't end up embarrassing for me later, but after I played this game, I made a personal decision for myself that if I ever get married, I want to honeymoon in Venice. And
That is so valid.
if the man that I marry doesn't want to do that, then he's not the one.
Then divorce, babe. Divorce.
So that's a personal decision that I made, and it happened after. I still have it. Like that's still a desire of mine.
Yeah.
Is to honeymoon in Venice if I ever marry.
That'd be nice. But yeah, the atmosphere of this game is just so nice. And one of my favorite touches of sound design is that not only do they have like the pigeon coos and like the footsteps and stuff, they also have just conversations in Italian like everywhere. Everywhere you go, you can hear somebody in the background having a conversation. And it's so nice to hear that because like it doesn't feel like, even though there are no other people on the screen except for the characters in the game, you still feel like it's populated and there's people all around you because of that. It's just so
I love
nice.
touches like that. I don't like it when like the game feels like you and the suspects are the only people that live in the world.
Yeah. I note like one thing about Midnight in Salem that I liked was having NPCs, not having everything super empty. But another thing I didn't like about Midnight in Salem was the NPCs.
Right.
But like the perfect way to have these NPCs not on screen, but like they still contribute to it are, you know, the voices that you have around everything, and it's so nice. But yeah, so it's such a good game. So overall rank for you, Tori?
Atmosphere or just
for
in general?
the game. Oh, for atmosphere, I know that it's going to be a 10 out of 10 for you.
Okay, yeah. This game is my 5th favorite game, so top 5. I would give this like a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, me too. I was going to say 9 out of 10 too, because it's just so good, you know?
I think the things that are imperfect about it are not so weighty that they detract from my overall enjoyment of everything else.
Yeah, but like it's so good. And I forgot to mention this earlier, but we do have a bald man spotlight for this episode. We have Enrico Tazza, our lovely bald man for this episode. So there's the bald man spotlight, and you know that gives an extra bit of attention for a game when we have a bald man in it, because we all know that Her Interactive loves bald men.
Yeah, and I mean, who doesn't? But Ricky's entire fit is pretty cool, not gonna lie.
No, it is, because he's totally into all the Carnivale stuff, just like, you know, neck deep in I'm committing to the bit, you know? And I respect it. I respect it, you know?
Same.
But anyway, yeah, this game is so good. Please
So
play it. It is, if you have not played it, which I'm so sorry, we just spoiled
Yeah, I was gonna
everything.
say.
Please play it now. If you have played it, which good, because we haven't spoiled it for you. Play it again, because it's really nice.
Yeah, go play it again. Or at least go listen to
Play
the
it
music
again.
or, something.
Yeah. Do. Or open up a save file and go and listen to
Play
the
Snoop.
mouse speak Italian to you.
Yeah. In his cute little mouse voice.
Oh, this is the first episode in a while where I haven't made a Lightning Queen reference accidentally. I guess
We can't force it.
ciao. Because they say ciao in the game because that's like an Italian goodbye. You say ciao or ciao bella or something
Ciao
like that.
bella.
So
Ciao bella.
ciao bella.
Good job incorporating
Ciao
that
bella.
somehow. Proud of you.
Ciao bella.
Oh, man.
Anyway, thank you for listening. If you don't already follow us on Instagram and Tumblr and subscribe to on YouTube and also Spotify and stuff, please do. Where are we also? I know because we just had another platform that we put our podcast on.
Google Podcast.
What was that? Podcast, yeah. So also follow us on Google Podcasts too. And that's all for today, folks. Ka-chow!
Ciao bella. Bye-bye.
Bye!